Jazz clubs around the world are sitting empty, but jazz musicians will always have great music and stories to share. And since jazz fans aren't able to get out to hear great music, we will deliver jazz to you at home. Welcome to Jazz Home Delivery with Tim Tamashiro. Hello friends, Tim Tamashiro here with Jazz Home Delivery, where we're bringing you all the wonderful jazz musicians from around Canada at home to you at home, hence the jazz delivery. And we don't even charge you like a delivery charge like Uber does, you know? So happy to be here with you this evening. Very excited that we're part of the JazzYYC TD International Jazz Days. This is a virtual festival that's going on for 28 days in a row, and we're featuring 56 artists from right across the country and around the world. Tonight, we're featuring our good friends Reg Schwager, a guitarist from Toronto, who is easily one of the most handsome and he's laughing right now and most sophisticated Uber guitarists in the world, and the equally handsome Peter Hum from Ottawa on piano, journalist and keyboardist extraordinaire. Here we go. I'm going to push the buttons to make sure that we all appear. There we are, gentlemen. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
Pretty good.
Good to see you too.
Nice to see you. Peter, things in Ottawa, I would imagine, are quieter than usual, you think?
Oh, for sure, for sure. You know, you can get, it's like the old days when you could get anywhere in Ottawa in 20 minutes, you could cross the town. You know, pre-pandemic, it was, you know, like an hour or more due to traffic jams and whatnot, but it's not a ghost town, but it's a quieter town for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just being in the nation's capital, it's just one of those kind of things where you're going, okay, well, there's got to be so much more happening there than in other centers, just to be able to take care of the citizenry.
I guess. I mean, the citizenry are around, out and about in my neighborhood. I don't really have like a big, radius that I need to cover just to do my shopping and stuff. But, you know, the neighbors are out and the kids are out playing.
Wow.
While they're keeping their distance, but they're out there. That's what I see.
Well, you can get some smiles out in the neighborhood anyways, right?
For sure. And it's warming up too.
Yeah, amen. Thanks. That's good to know, right? Reg, are you able to kind of get out and do your grocery shopping and stay safe at the same time? Toronto's a busy place as well.
Yeah, I'm out near the Danforth, so it's not as busy, but
yeah,
I get to go walk around, and it's not that crazy out there.
Yeah,
stuff done.
As long as you're safe, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
And you have a lot of music to listen to. If I can, take a look at what what I'm looking at in your background.
Actually, there's a green screen behind me, and that's just right.
Is that
I just have an iPhone.
That's amazing. Well, thank you both for being on the show. Peter, will you excuse me? I'm going to go talk to Reg to begin with, and then I'm going to come back and talk with you about your new album. Stay put. I'm just going to push a couple of magic buttons here. Boom and boom. How you doing, Reg?
Pretty good. Good to see you.
It's very nice to see you too, and I'm happy that we could have you on the show. I've been a massive fan of all the work that you've done over the years, and goodness knows I took a look at the amount of albums that you've played on over the years. There's absolutely no way. Actually, this is all the CDs that are in the background. Those are all the albums that you've played on over the years.
I wish.
It's astounding to see how many recordings that you've done over the years, but obviously you must enjoy it, or you wouldn't keep on doing it.
I enjoy it, and I've been doing it for a few years, so you only need a few per year for it to add up like that.
Yeah, for sure. Your lucky friends on Facebook have been seeing you and hearing you put some new songs on your Facebook feed, you playing guitar at home. These songs include Beautiful from Gordon Lightfoot, and another song called, and I hope I get the pronunciation, Menino de Oro. Is that correct?
Menino de Oro.
Yeah,
like Golden Child, I guess, something like that. Yeah.
You've been wanting to learn this song for a couple of decades, you said on your Facebook post. What is it that held you back?
There's so many things on my list of things to do, like learn this beautiful song that I've been hearing for so long, and now I really have some time to be able to do all those things. So I'm trying to work through things that I've dreamed of doing.
What is it about that particular song that is compelling to you, and that was kept calling to you over the years for 2 decades? You said on Facebook.
Well, you'd have to hear the original recording by Philo Machado to understand it, because he's a great singer, a great composer, great guitar player. So it's very affecting if you hear his version. So I thought, well, I'd give it a try.
It's a haunting song. You find it haunting?
Yes,
Yeah.
and the lyrics too. I'm not going to sing it, and I don't speak Portuguese, but the words are also very beautiful. That his wife wrote, I guess.
You speak Portuguese on guitar. It sounds like even if you might consider it phonetic, but it's. It was a challenging song to understand the structure of. Is that why it was something that you were kind of leaving it into the back of your mind for?
It is different than other song. It does have a unique kind of structure to it. So I guess that may be part of it.
Yeah. So you were going to play 3 songs for us tonight, and I'm thrilled about this because you're just so adept at speaking on the guitar. What guitar do you have there with you right now?
It's an Alhambra nylon string with a cutaway and a pickup, but we don't need the pickup today. So
Don't need the pickup. Well, since you have it in your hands,
yeah,
we might
let's
as
try
well. We might as
Okay,
well
let me-
hear you play it. Do you have what song have you chosen to play for us as number 1?
Number 1. Let's do Street of Dreams.
Street of Dreams is the number
Yeah,
1 song. There you go. What is
let's
it
try
about
that.
this particular song that this is one that you wrote?
No,
No.
it's an old Tommy Dorsey and Frank Sinatra did it. Ed Bickett used to play it as a bossa nova, so that's the first time I heard it. So kind of think of him a bit.
It was one of the. So you're a big Sinatra fan, are you?
Oh yeah. If I want to learn a song, I'll just listen to him, because that's the way to do it, I guess.
That's the
Not
way
for
to
the
do it.
melody.
Well, I'm dying to hear what your interpretation of
Okay.
String of Dreams is. Here's Reg Schwager, ladies and gentlemen. He's performing here at the TD JazzYYC International Jazz Days Virtual Festival. We're just so lucky to have you. Reg, take it away.
Okay, I'll try.
Just beautiful. Just lovely. Thank you so much, Reg Schwager. That's the String of Dreams, an old Tommy Dorsey song.
Well, I'm not sure who wrote
Tommy
it,
Dorsey,
but I
yeah.
just know that have this big three LP set of Sinatra with Tommy Dorsey, and definitely one of the songs on there. So,
It was just one of those treasures from your collection that you always remembered, and just wanted to kind
yeah,
of take a bite out of it, right?
exactly.
You spent some. How long did you spend on the road with George Shearing?
10 years.
10 years with George Shearing.
Yeah.
That what a rich experience that was. That was you were probably just in your early 20s, maybe back then.
Probably in my 30s, I
30s.
guess. Yeah,
Okay.
my 30s too. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Yeah.
What is it about? I'm always blown away with like some of my mentors are like Tommy Banks here in Alberta. I remember spending some time with Governor General David Johnston once, and I always ask them for like their most sage advice. Did you ever get a piece of advice from George Shearing that was just a delicious nugget that resonated with you?
Oh my God. I'm not sure. Mostly just talked in puns.
Talked in puns.
Yeah, had a lot of puns, but I'd have to. I don't know if you'd warned me, I might have thought of something, but
Yeah.
he just. But just to see his example of how beautiful he played, and how deeply into each song. Like he wouldn't just play a song; he would make it and polish it into a special kind of jewel. Like just it's not like, oh, let's play "There Will Never Be Another You," 1, 2, 3, 4. That was like every song was shaped and you know polished into something beautiful.
What a lovely, what a great mentor to have, especially as a young guitar player, and to just kind of see him do his thing. He seemed like a real gentle soul as well.
He was a very nice man, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, wow. Sir George Shearing.
George Shearing, that's right.
Sir George Shearing. Let's give the nod where the nod is due. You like a good challenge when it comes to music. What is it about challenging yourself with music that makes it really fun for you?
Well, if I have to practice, you have to practice if you're a musician, right? But
Mm-hmm.
so in order for me to do it, I have to I can't just play things that I already know because it's boring. Just play major scales. So I need to put a little twist or something into it, add an extra note, or do it in a different kind of time signature or different groupings. So I need something that is a little beyond my grasp to be able to motivate myself to do it. Otherwise, I won't do it.
So you'll throw in extra little decorations into a scale if you're practicing it just to make it interesting.
Just a little twist, something fresh in there, rather
It's-
than
It's
playing
like
the same thing every day.
yeah, that's it's fascinating. So now where is it? You said that you trick yourself into making it fun. So
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I know there's something that I need to develop, like I'm on a gig and that's not working, then I'll just design an exercise or something
oh,
that is fun, but will also accomplish moving forward towards that what I want to do.
it's that reward center in your brain. Maybe it's like the video game players have that. Maybe you go, oh yeah, I conquered that level.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, right?
So
It's amazing. I love that you're sitting there with your guitar right now, and that you're so open to playing more music for me. What is the second song that you have for us here, Reg? Tell us a little bit about why you chose it.
well, I have a song called May Days that I wrote a long time ago for my chronology CD. But and then I'm going to put a surprise at the end. So
Oh,
see if this works.
so this is you doing this is Reg doing Reg. He's
This is
he's
one of
brought in a
mine,
little
and
surprise.
then I'm going to put something at the end because I went for a walk and it's like, oh, to clear my head before this. But anyway, you'll see. Okay, let me see what happens.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was raining. I said, I'm not going for a nice walk. And a few things in there I need to work on, so I got some stuff to practice tomorrow. So that's good. Thank you. Cheers. Oh yeah, I guess so. Hard to avoid. Uh-oh. I'm sure he did it. I'm sure he must have done it. Let me think. Well, definitely CDs for sure. But if people ask me how many guitars I have and I don't know the answer, that's probably a bad thing, right? Exactly. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, the guitars, I know you must have a beautiful collection of guitars, and your guitar that you have right now is a nylon string guitar. It's lovely to hear that particular acoustic instrument just so intimately. But what's your favorite guitar to play?
Oh, depending on the context. Like this is great for Brazilian music or nice ballads, and I have a archtop electrics that are nice for jazz, and if I want to go crazy with some crazy fusion band, then I'll have like a Stratocaster or something. So I enjoy all of them for their different characters.
It's like I said, at golf clubs, I've said to so many musicians. That's the one thing that is struck me that I didn't fully realize is that so many musicians, if you're passionate about music and passionate about your instrument, then you do have a massive collection of instruments that are going to serve different purposes.
Yeah,
So
different sounds, different possibilities.
I'm trying to picture you with the Stratocaster.
Oh, well, it's downstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand. So you said that you told me earlier that your favorite instrument is the thin line Eastman archtop.
Oh yeah, the jazz thing. That's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it? Is it just does it just resonate with you? Does it like just move the cells in your body or
Yeah, it's Yeah, it's very comfortable to play. It's light and it's responsive, and the neck is very comfortable to move up and down. So I don't
and
know.
would that be the guitar that you would take on the road with you, or do you have to choose something that's a little bit more kind
Yeah,
of
that one's a little too fussy. It doesn't like it. If I put it in a flight case and put it underneath, which I usually do, and it'll be buzzing and complaining. So I have another more sturdy arch strap that I'll use instead. It doesn't mind being
so if
thrown
people
up.
want to hear you play your favorite guitar, then they got to come to
I
Toronto.
gotta come here. Yeah,
They
that's
got to
it.
go to Toronto. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that would want to go and do that.
Uh,
I want to hear you play that the guitar as
that's
well. I think
nice.
it's a real treat.
Thanks.
Reg, what do you have for your third and final song for us tonight? We're all really enjoying this, by the way. The
Oh,
comments are really
awesome.
coming in fast
Awesome.
and furious.
Well, I thought one of my favorite swing songs to play is Deed I Do. So how about
Deed I
that?
do.
Deed I Do.
I love it. Here's Reg Schwager appearing here in the TD Jazz YYC International Jazz Days. Here's Deed I Do. Indeed I Do, courtesy of Reg Schwager on guitar. I always think of Diane Shure when I hear that song for some reason. In the 90s, I was working for MCA Records back then, and that was one of the albums that she put out where she's saying, "Oh, I think it was called Deedles," as a matter of fact, and "Deed I Do" is one of her killers. And you did a lovely job with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is so what's next in your arsenal of songs that you're going to tackle before we wrap up here?
I've started writing out a song by the band,
Really?
Richard Manuel, called "Whispering Pines." So
Oh,
I'm trying to write out the melody, the exact rhythm that he's singing, which is like some kind of Einstein-ish. So it might take a while, but that's the next one.
Einsteinish. I'm fascinated by how you're taking on pop tunes, especially from the late '60s, early '70s, and how those are a real lovely challenge for you.
Well, those are the songs that I grew up, when I was 12. That's what I was listening to. So it
Yeah,
resonates deeply.
yeah, no kidding. If for the viewers out there, if you get a chance to go and check out Reg Schwager's Facebook page, he's got a recording of "Beautiful" from Gordon Lightfoot. That is a gorgeous song, boy.
That's like a beautiful song.
And brand new appreciation of it. And so if you get a chance to go and check that out, it's well worth your time. And I'm sure happy to have you on the show, Reg. Thank you so much for your talent and for your gentle soul and for your joy of music. It's very, very apparent.
Oh, thanks. Great to see you.
Will you excuse me? I'm going to go over and talk to Peter Hum, who was in as much awe as I am. As a matter of fact, we're kind of going, wow, that was a real treat. Excuse me, I'm just going to zip over and see Peter.
All right. See you later.
I got to do this and this. There's Peter Hum. How are you doing, Peter? Wasn't that a treat?
That was fantastic, Tim. That was really great.
It was like we had our own little personal concert.
It was like a command performance. Yeah,
It was
I feel blessed to have
a command.
been in this close proximity to Reg via the internet.
This isn't the first time that you've been in contact with Reg. In fact, many years ago, let's just say 5 years ago, you...
I wish it was. It feels like it was only 5 years ago, but in fact, it was 35 years ago. And it's one of those gigs that really stuck in my memory, if not in Reg's. But we're about the same age. I might be a little older than Reg because
you don't look...
I was going to university in Queen's University in Kingston at the time, and hanging out with people there playing jazz, and I was called upon to play with some visiting musicians at the Kingston Jazz Society meetings that happened monthly, and this is going back, to be totally honest, 35 years ago.
Wow.
So Reg, who was a child prodigy at the time, was
a child. It's just
Reg
is
right.
smiling ear to ear right now.
He was, brought to Kingston. I think his manager or someone that he knew at the time was there. Carol Clark, who lived in Kingston. So we were lucky to have Reg come in, but it was myself, I think, and probably Steve Holy, who's a bassist now in Vancouver, but he was playing electric bass at the time, although he was also a guitarist. And maybe it was a drummer named Scott Brooks, and we were all just kind of wet behind the ears, kids trying to play jazz, university students. And here was Reg, this powerhouse who was younger than us and taking command of things on the stage. And I remember feeling, distinctly humbled, I guess, to be playing with Reg at that time. And that was my one brush up close with Reg's greatness back in 1985.
1985.
That's right.
Were you, and I wanted to bring up the point because a good friend of mine and a guy that you went to school with, David Gray, is
Right.
watching the show right now. He said to say hi. I told him, hey, your
Well,
friend
that's
Peter
great.
Hum is going to be on the show this evening. So
Yeah, I would have met David 4 years after I met Reg.
Oh, wow.
I guess roughly. So that was like 1989 at journalism school in London, Ontario, right at
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah, well, he hasn't aged today, and either have we.
Oh, I wish. I wish. I'm
just
showing
going,
signs of
I'm
wear
going
and
for the
tear.
cheap applause. I'm going to push the applause button. I'm pushing the applause button right now. Peter, you recently released a brand new album called Ordinary Heroes, and you've written songs that may have addressed a lot of hot button issues in politics and in society right now. Do you see your new music as activism?
Sure, why not? Music can be made and be appreciated for lots of different reasons. And this is the third album that I put out. I'm not quite as prodigious as Reg, who might do 3 or 4 in a year, but I'm looking at more like 3 or 4 in a lifetime. And in my previous go rounds, they were more likely to contain original compositions that were inspired by my son or my wife, or some musical notion that had caught my imagination. But in this case, this new album is a collection of tunes that I have written over the last 4 or 5 years. We went into the studio in 2018, but really the catalyst for everything, or the thing that really set me on the path to making this record was, dare I say it, the election of Donald Trump in November 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in kind of a bad way after that happened. I was, shocked and maybe a little bit despairing, given that I leaned to the left somewhat politically. And that was a real rude surprise for me. And, we can look at where we are now to kind of see, I guess, if my trepidation at that time was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But I started writing music, I guess, just because it was a way of processing, some of the things that are happening in politics and society at the time. So I started writing music. I would think about topics and come up with titles, and then try to elicit the music from that. So it was an interesting way to go. And
Did it help you kind of shake some of the angst that you might have been feeling, or?
I think so. I think it was a way of not being complacent, I guess, if we want to put it that idealistically.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I had songs at least that I liked, and I was spurred by being concerned about what's going on around me. So it felt like, yes, I was doing something positive and constructive, at least for myself, and hopefully for the other people who would play it with me, and for the people who might hear it, hopefully.
So, since the release of the album, you've seen and experienced, the other side. I mean, you're an arts reviewer, and you're a jazz reviewer, and you're a restaurant reviewer in your day job. So you've seen the other side now of what it is that you do, because you've sent your albums out for review, and the reviews have not always been. How do you describe the reviews? I don't want to put a label on it, but
the reviews have always been interesting for this record. The one that I thought was probably the most interesting, maybe the most memorable one, was a reviewer from. I confess I don't really know the individual who wrote the review.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's an American and also a Trump supporter.
Ah.
And this reviewer, to this person's credit, gave my record a real thorough listen or two, and decided that, I believe it's a she, that she really liked the record and liked the music, but she wanted to hive off completely the kind of political leanings and inspirations of the music, and say that 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 stuff just doesn't fly. But if you can put all that stuff aside, it's a good record.
Well, but
So
there's
that's a bit. That's an outlier, I have to say, because the other
reviews have been
reviews
good.
have been positive and have been either apolitical or have been basically saying, "Yeah, right on. Good for you politically."
Yeah,
And the
but
music's good.
your music is not laden with lyrics and really really deep stories. There are titles that have some album liner notes that just kind of describe what the feeling was as you leaned into writing these songs. I don't know how that would come across, through airplay or through somebody just picking up the album.
Right. Well, I guess it's not a must for that to happen. We don't need big long intros if these things are. If I'm fortunate enough to have these tunes played on radio stations or internet radio stations, so that's okay too. But when I'm in concert, I do say a little bit about the tunes, what I was thinking, or what they mean to me. And I find that people generally appreciate having some extra musical notion that they can grab onto a little bit to frame the music for them. That's not to say that I'm telling them they have to think about it in this way, or they have to like it because it means X, or something like that. But it's just another way for people to open a door, I guess, and come in closer to the music.
Yeah, it is fascinating. Now, when you're performing these songs, you were recently on tour, and unfortunately, five of your concerts were canceled because of the COVID crisis. When you're on stage performing these songs, you bring up the titles, and then do you describe kind of your inspiration behind them, and what's the audience's take on that?
Well, I tend to do that, and I try to keep it as concise as possible because I'd rather be playing than delivering some kind of oratory from the bandstand. But some of the tunes, for example, are a little bit self-evident in their titles. I have a tune called "Fake News Blues," which you can read into that what you will.
Yeah.
But when I have a tune called "Rabble Rouser," that was a tune really kind of written to give Donald Trump, who was rousing the rabble and still rousing the rabble in terms of his base. We were trying to give Trump what for, and I like to tell people to pay attention to, Ted Warren's thunderous drum solo in particular in that tune as a kind of, cri de coeur of the left wing or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, so you've done a recording now, a video of "Fake News Blues" for us.
No, I'm
No?
afraid I didn't do that one. I did two other tunes. You have your choice of two other tunes.
Which one was? Okay. So which ones did you do? I'm sorry.
I did a tune called "Spare Hearts"
"Spare Hearts." Yes,
and a tune called "Nebulous Compensation."
that's right.
flip a
Oh, I'm
coin.
sorry. I got that all mixed up. Now I'm mixing things up. We're gonna keep "Spare Hearts" for a little bit later on, but "Nebulous Compensation." Tell us about what your thoughts were
Sure.
behind this.
Well, it's a bit of a nebulous title, I guess, as titles go. But I had in mind this notion that there's an argument that could be made that the pursuit of, this is awfully high-minded, the pursuit of profit and, the almighty dollar and a, hyperactive economy can come at the expense of the environment.
Oh,
So what I was trying to convey, I guess, was it's really kind of meant to be an climate change or climate crisis related tune. And I was thinking about rising sea levels and rising temperatures and things like that. And I wrote kind of like a rising melody, although actually I think the bass notes are going down. But it's all rather complicated the more I talk about it, it seems. But anyway, in the end,
no, it's all fascinating.
when
Like,
it's
for me,
performed
it's
by
fascinating.
a band, it's kind of like a bittersweet bossa nova about the end of the world. But when it's just played by me, I guess it's a little different.
Yeah. So, why is it nebulous then? Is it I don't know. Is it how do you trade the environment for
I
profit?
guess you
Is
could.
that kind of
I
what you're
guess you
leaning
could say
towards?
I'm proposing that it's kind of like a bad bargain. You what does it profit a man if he gives up the world for profit or temporary gains? I mean, you can see the same thing right now, I guess, with the idea that we're trying to. There's an argument in terms of reopening the economy, especially in the U.S. And to do
Yeah,
that, you have to do that on the backs of people who are going to get sick. So the compensation is the economy, but it's kind of nebulous because people are going to die as a result of what you're doing.
yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna go and hear the song now.
And this song now played by me now. Well, anyway, I'm not sure if it conveys that, but we'll see.
Well, I'm sure it does, and it's up to the audience. You've told the story, and now it's up to
True
them to be
enough.
able to lean into it and see if they can hear what your intention was. So, thanks so much,
Okay,
Peter. I'm going to
cross my
play this
fingers.
song for you now. TD Jazz YYC International Jazz Days Virtual Festival. Here's Peter Hum with Nebulous Compensation. Peter Hum, ladies and gentlemen, with his song Nebulous Compensation from his brand new album called Ordinary Heroes. Thank you so much for that performance, Peter. It must be odd for you to play at home by yourself and do a performance. You love playing with bands, right?
That's right. This was, I'm really grateful to you and to Cody and to JazzYYC for inviting me to try to do this. It is a first for me, and I feel
Is
like
it
it's
really?
yeah, for sure. I feel like it's something that we're in the new normal now, and we don't know what we're going to be when we come out on the other end. I feel like a lot of musicians are going to have to get their internet performing chops together.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've got a call this week from the Ottawa Jazz Festival that they're trying to put some kind of project together themselves. So really,
Oh, good.
it's kind of, in the absence of clubs and venues and concerts, this is really something that's got to develop. I mean, it was happening before, but it's really going to have to take off now, I think.
Yeah, all the world is literally a stage, and now, especially in your world, now obviously you can't balance out doing a lot more music right now because you have your day job, and you're a full-time journalist,
Right,
so it would take a very careful balance to be able to balance your passion with music and your passion with journalism, because it seems like you're a very passionate journalist, though, as well.
Sure, it really keeps me busy, and there was a time when people would say that I had the best gig at the newspaper because I was writing about restaurants and food and writing about music, and my response then was that in fact it was kind of like two jobs at the newspaper, because you could certainly pursue both of them. You dive right into both of these topics to your heart's content, and then on top of that, I have a home life, family life, and then whatever musical pursuits I can muster too. Yeah, so it's
you
kept
really
me busy.
had to plan, Peter, in order to be able to record this album and then to release it and then to tour it. I mean, you literally had to take a couple of weeks off, and that was you taking a couple of weeks off to go and to do your music as
Right.
part of your passion. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real fantastic experience. Just right now, I guess it's 2 months ago exactly. I guess I was out on the road for like the most extended period of time in my life. It was really
Wow.
like a peak experience musically for me, and something that, as you've hinted, took a lot of preparation and not just the composing and the recording, but then a lot of paperwork, frankly, to apply for grants and to be fortunate if you get those grants to go out on the road. So I have to thank the Ontario Arts Council and the Canada Council for the Arts, so that we didn't have to eat nothing but granola bars, while we were on the road or something like that.
Granola
we were
bars in the
six,
van.
we were 6 people out on the road actually, so it was great.
Yeah. Well, like Rich Underhill said the other day, he goes, "My day job is booking my night job."
Right.
Therein lies the life of any musician and whatnot. And then when you add on top of that a full-time career in whatever field, including journalism, it definitely does make things a lot of extra balls in the air.
Right, for sure.
Tell me about this song "Spare Hearts" that you've prepared for us here now. The "Spare Hearts" can mean a million things to a million different people, but you had something in mind when you wrote it.
That's true, but now I feel like I maybe over-explained nebulous compensation and put people on too much of like a pipeline to thinking about it. So I like the idea that you have said that it's open to interpretation. I mean, really, I guess it started out with like a pun, maybe not as good as a George Shearing pun, but a pun. Spare hearts instead of spare parts.
Yeah.
But the notion was that it was just a song to kind of reassure people, give them resilience, and to offer compassion, I guess, to people who were, downtrodden or feeling like things were bleak, I guess, in terms of the way the world was going. And I guess, it was relevant then, back in whatever, 2017 or 2017, I guess, when I quickly dashed it off. And, now during COVID-19, I think it probably still has some resonance too.
Well, you can't go wrong with compassion.
Sure,
Yes.
absolutely, 100%.
I love it. I'm going to play the song right now for our guests at home. Thanks so much, Peter. Peter is performing here at the TD JazzYYC International Jazz Days Virtual Festival, the world's longest title of any festival. I'm just happy to have you both here. Here's Peter Hum now with his song, Spare Hearts. And there he is, Peter Hum, ladies and gentlemen, performing his song Spare Hearts, sending a little bit of extra compassion out into the world. And goodness knows, I feel like there's a lot of people who would really take you up on that, Peter.
It's been that kind of year, I think, for a lot of people. Yeah, not just in terms of coronavirus, but yeah, I think there are a lot of people who need a little bit of propping up for whatever reason. It's that kind of 2020.
It is that kind of a 2020. Well, it'll always be remembered as that type of year, where we can just do whatever we can to be able to boost our own kindness and be able to see what else we can do out there in the world to help the neighbors or help the country or help the world. Protect yourself, and that protects others. Imagine how amazing that is.
It's a very sobering time, and we're focusing on essentials, and it'll be fascinating to. I don't know if we can say see the back of it, but to be able to look back on some things and see what we've learned from it, for sure.
I sure hope so. I'm going to bring Reg into the picture here. Boom, boom, and boom. There's all three of us together in the same room. Gentlemen, I have enjoyed spending time with you this evening tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very glad to be here. Thank you, Tim.
It's a real treat to just hang out with people and to learn more about people that I'm fascinated with. Peter, you've always been a stalwart supporter of jazz and the arts in Canada, and goodness knows I really appreciate that. And I've always looked up for you for your leadership in that. And Reg, I've always really appreciated your musicianship and your gentle ease. And boy, this was a fun night for me. I hope it was the same for you.
Absolute gas. Love to do it again sometime.
Well, let's plan that right now. I'll send you out an invitation.
I'm not busy. I'm not busy like for the next 25 other nights. So you can just.
Reg, could you come up with any other songs? I don't know.
Right now, sure.
He would do it too. Oh, he's reaching for the guitar. Oh my goodness.
That's right.
The classic ending to any show. I really do appreciate having you both, and appreciate your talents and your thoughts and your leadership. We're gonna end it there. We have a lot of sponsors that we'd like to thank here at JazzYYC and on behalf of the festival. So give us a wave, and thanks again. I hope to see you again in the near future. Take care. JazzYYC would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support that has helped bring this virtual jazz festival to you. TD, Jazz Home Delivery, the City of Calgary, Alberta Foundation for the Arts, the Government of Canada, Calgary Arts Development, Inglewood BIA, CKUA Radio, Calgary Public Library, CADME, the Coalition for Music Education, Music Monday, Studio Bell, home of the National Music Center, Decidedly Jazz Danceworks, and the Music Mile. Thank you. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, please subscribe to this page, and if you want to receive more information about this or any of JazzYYC's other upcoming programming, please visit jazzyyc.com and become a member.